Final Wager is a film that was directed by Kenny Yates, and it stars Scott Hamm Duenas, who was actually the one to have reached out to me in order to review this film honestly, particularly because I have reviewed one of his past films a year or two ago called Rebroken. I also interviewed him for that film as well. Rebroken was a film that, if you haven't seen it, is very, very intriguing, the way that it was made and the way that the story unfolds. So I was really curious on what he would do next. And the answer, of course, is Final Wager. It ultimately follows this guy named Chance, who's played by Scott, who is addicted to gambling. He goes to Gambling Anonymous, but for the past 6 months, he's actually been pretty clean about it. He hasn't gambled once. He's about to propose to his longtime girlfriend. Things are looking up. But when he learns that his foster mother has a little bit of problems with her finances and she's going to be kicked out of her nursing home, he has to find a way to get $64,000 fast, like within 2 days, fast. So he takes up gambling again. Things obviously are not looking great, but then he starts to realize something. He has never once lost a single bet on Christmas Day. So on Christmas, he makes as many bets as he possibly can, and lo and behold, he starts winning and winning and winning again. And in a strange way, this film puts a new spin on the whole idea of a Christmas miracle. Once again, I do have to thank Scott for reaching out to me to ask me to review this film. And once again, I will be doing this as honest as humanly possible. And I will start off by saying I didn't enjoy it as much as Rebroken. However, I was entertained throughout. But it was also kind of a movie that, no matter what it did, it couldn't have a great ending for one main reason. It's a Christmas movie. What I mean by that is that it had the ability to choose whether it wanted to be incredibly clever in terms of its commentary on gambling addiction, or it could go the other route and really make it a Christmas miracle, make it an actual magical thing that happens to this one guy. And I guess it completely depends on who you are as an audience member when you watch this film, on which one you prefer to see. But I was at a crossroads here because, on one hand, A Christmas Miracle is perfect for a film like this, which is, it's a Christmas movie. What do you want? You want to see happy endings. You want to see magic in the air. You want to see something unique, and this film does offer that. But on the other hand, the film also has a very strong message against gambling addictions. Specifically, he has an addiction. It's cost him a lot in his past. He's in a support group for it. His longtime girlfriend's father, same thing, he had a gambling addiction, and it has obviously caused a lot of trouble and strife for these people in their lives as a whole. So the movie obviously has a very strong message against gambling addictions as a whole, which means a majority of the film almost glorifies gambling as long as it's on Christmas Day. So it's giving a little bit of mixed messages here and there throughout the movie. Is it for gambling or is it not? In my head, I thought it could be incredibly clever if I was writing it to have it work the way it does, but by the end, realize that it was all kind of a coincidence in the first place, and that gambling really is terrible and it ruins his life essentially. But the problem with that is it is a Christmas movie, and that is not how you want a Christmas movie to end. But at the same time, I would have probably considered that really bold and clever, and ultimately probably what they should have done just to retain consistency. But being a Christmas movie means that whenever you're talking about the magical side of the film, you can actually forgive it a little bit. Because if this film was just a random magical film that didn't take place on Christmas, it wouldn't be all that great. But again, catch-22, no matter what they do, I probably would have had a problem the way that ended. Now, if you did see Rebroken, there are some similarities here. Obviously, they were both directed by the same guy and starring the same guy. Not only that, but both films feature a support group of sorts. Both films feature a mystical energy about it. Rebroken had to do a little bit more about talking to the dead, and this obviously winning every bet possible. And both films kind of dealt with addiction a little bit, not only in just talking to the dead, but also his character in that had a lot of drinking problems. It's gambling. So there are similarities, obviously. It kind of feels like a spiritual successor or prequel almost, not actually connected, but just kind of in that ballpark. But I did say that I was entertained from beginning to end, and I was. A big part of that has to do with the spirit of the film, the energy that these characters are giving off, and the surprise appearances by a couple of big name actors such as Tom Arnold and Michael Madsen, both of which do a pretty good job, though I do think that Tom Arnold's appearance was probably mostly a one-off thing where Tom Arnold probably just stopped by the studio, did his few lines and left, and we never saw him again. But Michael Madsen, however, was a vital part of the film, and he honestly did a great job. We know him from Tarantino's work as well as some other films, and while obviously this isn't going to be remembered as one of his best performances ever, he did a pretty good job. Overall, I do consider this to be an easy watch. I think a majority of the film was made well. I wasn't a fan of, I guess, the third act, but the first and second act are a lot of fun, and I was engaged throughout. So to give this a quick score, I will just say C-. For me, that basically just means I consider it to be fair, but obviously it could be better in certain departments. But what about you guys? Have you seen Final Wager? And if you have, let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace. Oh.